Okay, so I'm going to do this one inside, which is pretty interesting because it's raining. And I was resting and I realized that in psychology and in Narcotics Anonymous and probably other places, they say that a person can't change unless they hit rock bottom or unless they can no longer live with themselves because their life is so terrible, or somebody close to them has died or has cancer or just got diabetes or had a heart attack or they had a heart attack, and then all of a sudden they have to, you know, I think their soul or something within them tells them, okay, it's time for me to change. If you don't believe in souls, that's fine, but something within them, something, whatever it is, tells them, like, you have to change. I can no longer live with you. You can no longer live with yourself. Like, let's go. And in order to get to that point, in order to change, in order to get to the point where you can change, psychiatrists, Narcotics Anonymous, and even probably doctors would, as far as physical doctors go, heart, lungs, cancer, that kind of thing, diabetes, they would most likely all agree that it takes a significant event in someone's life to make that shift, to go from being this person to being that person. From the suffering individual to a person that wants to live a life where they could live with themselves or be okay or feel okay because something is in them, something within them feels wrong or wants to change or feels like it has to change so they could still survive or live, and then they make that shift. Now, I was just laying here, and I do a lot of like laying down meditations where like I'll just lay there and wait and wait and wait, and all of a sudden like these things will come in and I'll figure them out. And I was just listening to Meister Eckhart sermons, and I thought to myself, well, if people were to change and want to become more present or more connected to all things by not giving anything a name or a label, not seeing anything as good or bad, but just being connected to all things and knowing that there is no such thing as separation, that all things are happening in this moment, right now, in this present moment, and you're connected to all things, and all things are connected to you. And there's no such thing as time, but time, and it just continues to roll, and you're all going in the same direction as each other. And that's true understanding of all things. And that is how you detach, and you're not affected by anything in your outside reality. You understand your outside reality, and you understand your internal reality when you're present, because you're connected to all things. And you understand it and the flow of all things and the flow of creation. But in order to get to that spot where you're present enough to feel life and the energy of all things and to flow in the direction of life, you have to allow yourself to hit rock bottom, to go through the worst tragedy of all time, and to face it and to feel it and to really go through it. However, we live in the era of comfort where if we feel bad, we turn on Netflix and we watch Shadow and Bones, or we watch The Mandalorian, or we watch any shows on, Disney Plus, or, whatever, movies, and we start to feel better. Or it's easy for us to get food now, so we get food delivered to our house, and we have comfort food because maybe we're too depressed or we have too much anxiety to leave the house to buy the comfort food. We get the comfort food delivered to us. We get the movies and the shows delivered to us on Netflix, Hulu, whatever. And we have all that comfort. So having all that comfort, the comfort food, the comfort shows, the comfort TV, the comfort, things online, we being constantly entertained by TikTok, things like that, to distract us from the pain. So we have that distraction from the pain. So we may never hit rock bottom enough to actually want to change and be connected to all things. However, being connected to all things is no joke. You move very slow, and it's very hard to keep up with people. Like, there's people outside laughing. And I know that if I go out there and I sit there calmly like this, and I'm just present, and I have no thought, and I'm just there, and I just look at people as they speak, I know that I'm going to change that environment, and it's going to be more calming, and people are going to be just more settled. They're not going to be hokey laughing. And I know this for a fact because they were hoking and laughing outside. I was like, I'll go out there and join them. And I went out there and I was just like hanging out, and they were happy to see me, and we talked a little bit. And then people started talking, and I just kind of drifted and just looked at them. I was there with them, giving them love, and all of a sudden the environment went calmer, and the conversations went calmer. And then I left, and a minute and a half later they were all cracking up again. So I need to know that, like, the more present and calm you are, and you have that Buddha nature about you, you just don't see any problems in life. Like, there's no positive and negatives. If something terrible happens to you, you learn from it, you understand it. If something great happens, that's fine. But you don't expect it to happen. You don't want it to happen. You don't want happy things. You don't want suffering. You're okay with all things. And when you get to that point, that's the point in life where you can just be okay with all things, because all things are okay. Even the suffering, even the terrible things. Because eventually you understand that suffering leads into clarity and an understanding of who you need to be in the future. Or even though there is no future, it's just this process with you and other beings that are around you all the time. And you learn that, like, okay, that event happened, that terrible event, or if you want to call it terrible, okay, that event happened. Like, how am I going to learn from it? And what did it mean? Did it have something to do about me? Was it the other people that I was spending time with? Was it the event? Was it just a bad place? Was there too many people? Was there too much chaos and something bad happened? Was somebody drinking? Did that cause the event to happen? Like, or something from the person's past when they were drinking that caused that event to happen? Because the person, once they started drinking, the memories from the past happened, or who they were happened, and they got angry. What was it? What was the chain of events? And then you think about it. But by being present, that's the best way to think about it. Because when you're present, you have focused thinking. The thoughts come from above. Well, for me, they do. And I'll just sit there and I'll be present. And I won't give anything a name or a meaning. And I'll just calm down and relax. Slow down my breath, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll become present. And then as soon as I become present, and I allow myself to become still and present and calm through breathing and through relaxation, all of a sudden I'm calm enough. And usually I have to get away from people. Being in isolation helps a lot. Getting away from people helps a lot because you're not around noise. And then all of a sudden the thoughts, the painful thoughts are the things that you need to work on. They come in when you're present and you're calm and you're still. Be still and know, right? And thoughts come in. You're like, okay, and it's focused thinking, and you figure out what you need to do with it, and then you put it away. We'll talk later. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have fun.